Testing. Yeah, correct.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Yeah, Pathak sir,
Good evening,
please.
sir. Good evening, sir.
Please open your camera if it is possible for you.
You will edit it later, no?
Right, sir. Right.
Yeah, okay. So because we can get once a program starts, from there you can edit.
Right.
Yeah. Shivang, yes. Where are you from, Shivang?
Sir, I am from Daman. Daman.
Daman.
It's a
Okay.
union territory.
Yeah, Daman and the Gujarat.
Right.
Yes.
Daman, yes. And what are you doing? Why did you join this program? What do you expect?
Sir, I'm working with Panasonic Electrical in administration.
Working in admin. Okay. Right. In what's the name of the company?
Panasonic Life Solution.
Panasonic.
Yes.
Panasonic. This is what? Lighting solutions, huh?
Yes.
Lighting solutions. Okay.
Life Solution. Life Solution. Not light.
Life solutions.
Life solutions.
Sciences.
Okay.
Yeah.
Life sciences. Okay. What are the things they manufacture there in Panasonic Life?
We manufacture switches and sockets and flexicord.
Yeah, switches, sockets. How can it be life? Okay, switches, sockets. That's why I said it is a light solutions, huh? L-I-G-H-T?
No, life. L-I-F-E.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Because normally when you say life, we presume that it is on life sciences or something to do with biomedical and things like that. Incidentally, Neeraj sir, I am also on the board of BPL now.
Yeah. Congratulations, sir. Recently you joined BPL board.
Recently I was joined the board of BPL.
Right.
And we are into BPL Medical, which is a very big company, you know, in terms of
medical equipments.
Correct. So that's why I said when he said life, I thought is that thing.
Yeah.
Then we have Sakshi Singh. Yeah.
Sakshi, is it possible to interact?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My name is Sakshi, and I'm studying in Vasanta College for Women, which is affiliated with BHU, and I'm still pursuing BCom honors from here. I'm a third-year student.
From BHU.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very nice. Were you by any chance in any course earlier?
No, sir.
Okay, because the name is familiar. So maybe somebody with a similar name. Yeah.
Yeah, past batches, many students you must have interacted from the same college.
So we wait for some more time because what is the number expected?
Total 7 students are there. So maybe they're about to join or something, but you can start. We can start.
We probably wait for a couple of more minutes, you know, because being the inaugural session, first session.
Yeah, I have told them very specifically to join by 5:55, in fact. So anyway,
always join 5 minutes early and not
5 minutes early is always advisable. Yeah, no problem, sir. I think somebody is on the way and somebody is. So I will request you to start, and maybe in between if they can join. So then we will take them.
Okay. Right.
And I will request everybody, please, Shivang Saab, Sakshi, Harshita, please open your camera, interact, because these are the interactive sessions. Because otherwise,
it is not just a monologue. Because sometimes in between I'll ask you questions. Right?
Yeah, please. Ask as many questions as
otherwise you also tend to get you won't get the full benefit of.
See, the whole concept was that 2-year MBA should get accomplished in just 6 months, because once you'll get interacted with somebody, so all the experiences, sir, can transfer to you. Otherwise, the same bookish knowledge is available, right? So this was the real concept with the this concept. Yeah, please, sir. Please continue, sir. Yeah, I've already given you the share screen option as well. Yeah,
okay.
Please.
Yeah, I see that. I see that. 1 minute. I will get the screen.
Please check your screen so that.
Yeah. No. I'm opening my PPT and then I'll share screen with that.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, today there is a Makar Sankranti as well, like 15th,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. But today Sakshi told me that she is also busy and some other students were also busy. Then I realized that I could have.
Yeah, but then it is evening, so we should.
Yeah, but it's a very auspicious day to start with. So I don't wanted to miss this auspicious day. So that's why I've chosen, and somehow we will start. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm sharing screen now. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, now it's okay.
No, I have to get to this. Somebody has Kumar Gaurav has starting from the beginning. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Good evening and a very happy Sankranti to all of you.
Happy Sankranti.
Yes, I hear only one voice. Now, where are the others?
Same to
Yeah.
Good evening and good evening. Happy Sankranti as well. You so.
Yeah. So for those of you from Punjab, Punjab is what? Lori today, Bihu in Orissa, Sankranti in Karnataka. I actually belong to Tamil Nadu, so it is Pongal in Tamil Nadu, and Sankranti in Maharashtra as well. And Gujarat will be enjoying kite flying a lot today, right? Okay, so welcome to you for this program. I'll just give you a very brief background of mine before I start, so you will know what to expect. I am an electronics engineer from IIT Kharagpur, which I passed about 50 years back. So 1972 batch. And I have been working with a few corporates in Mumbai. Before then, I did my MBA from IIM Bangalore and worked for a few more years before I started on my own since 1982. That is exactly 40 years back. I've been an entrepreneur since then. In the last 20 years, I've been also giving a little bit of my time to teaching so that I keep in touch with the people, subject, and also I keep constantly upgrading. I currently also in the last 5+ years, I've been mentoring startups at IIM Bangalore. And that is one of my major roles. Apart from that, I'm the board of companies. BPL is one listed company. There is one US-based company and one startup company, and then my own companies. I also give my time for social sector, where I'm a trustee in 2 hospitals. And I'm associated with the Lions Club here in Mysore, where I normally reside. But I also in Bangalore for some bit of time. So this is my short background. And with that, we start our first session of this batch on basic management principles. Why we need this, rather in the US and many colleges, they call it as the Management 101. You see, meaning it is a basic foundational course. And Only when you learn the basics of management, then you'll be able to build on whatever you learn on specific subjects. The foundation has to be strong, and that's why this particular course is very important, because you will directly or indirectly apply these principles in every subject which you learn later on. So we'll start with what is the nature and functions of management. And before we start that, I ask a very simple question: why do we manage? Okay, now can I ask Kumar Gaurav? You joined a little late. Can you unmute yourself and then say what do you understand, and why manage anything?
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sir. I'm audible, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, sir. By the term manage, I think that manage is something. If I'm running in a, it's actually I'm working in a water treatment sector, sir.
Okay.
So I have to go. So I have to go through the operation and maintenance.
Okay.
Of the site.
Okay.
So I have to look over the operation maintenance of the site. So over there, I have to manage things regarding that operation maintenance, like managing the people over there,
Yes.
and tools and tackles, and regarding the operations, the various like inventory and various other things are also associated with it, sir. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So we have to manage like that.
Manage that. Okay.
Yeah.
Then shall we say where? Similarly, Harshita. Yes. Can you mute again after you finish? You mute.
No,
Otherwise, your room sounds
I'm
will
audible,
come.
sir?
Yeah. Yes, Harshita.
Yes.
Go ahead, Harshita from Hardwar. So why manage?
Yes, sir. So manage is something, sir, for working on things, we need to manage everything.
Right. In fact, if you ask me a question, who is the best manager in your house?
My mom.
Correct. Absolutely. Great.
Yes.
Why is your mom the best manager?
Because she's doing all the work from morning till night. She manages everything.
Correct.
Work,
Right.
children's, household works, everything.
Correct. Yeah. And whenever she gets time after all that, then she takes care of herself.
Yes.
So that's an ideal manager, right?
Yeah.
All moms are like that. And if you want to learn management, you don't have to go outside. You can learn from and see what your mother is doing inside the house, right? Yeah, right. Okay. Now, obviously, we have constraints in the situation where we work. Constraints in terms of manpower, whom we have, their capabilities, their expertise, the resources in terms of the tools and equipment and material which you get, from which you have to process or deliver the output. You have the biggest constraint is the time itself. Now you can't take any amount of time with you to deliver whatever you have to do within the time which is allotted to you, or by which you have to give the desired output. So when you have all these, obviously you are all these are actually resources, right? So what we are managing is we are managing the resources optimally to ensure that you get the right output within the right time, with the right quality, right? So these are the things which we do, and to enable that, you should be able to understand how to manage all this, right? So basically what we are managing is managing the factors of what we call as a production. Production here does not mean physical production again. Even if you're in the software, your software is whatever you do is a product or a process. And that has to, there is an input to that and there is an output to that. Whatever happens between the input and output is a process, and that is what we manage to ensure that we give the right output. To enable that, we need people. We call it the 4 M's basically. Of course, men means women also. Of course, nowadays we have to say, say that thing. Okay, she, her, or a he, him. And money, of course, because money is always scarce. And not only that, whatever you conserve in the process of production, that is what becomes the profit for the organization. So you need to save on whatever you do and ensure that there are least wastages and to enable for the given output. So you have to manage men or people, you have to manage money in terms of physically or otherwise, or whatever is allotted to you, the materials which go into the production, and the machinery, equipment, accessories, all that which goes into the producing that. So you are effectively managing what are these factors or production. And resources are always scarce. In fact, most of the time you'll find that when you're managing something, you wish you had more hands with you. I'm sure like we were talking about, Anjali was saying her mom, right? Mom sometimes feels that, the more people can help her out, right? Like all the people help. It happens everywhere, you have more help, but then sometimes it is available, sometimes it is not, and you have to make do with what is available, right? So the resources are always scarce, whether it is persons, men, money, materials, because money is where you can get from the management only. So management will always say you manage with what you have. I can't give you more, right? Right. So this is what you are managing, the factors of production, which are scarce, and which means that 2 things are important in managing. One is managing effectively and managing efficiently. Let me ask Anjali, yes, what is effective? Unmute and talk. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So effective is something when we do some work, and the after effect of that would, like, we have to, if we are given a work and we are doing in some manner, and then we get some results. So that is the effect of that work. And so efficiency is that in which rate we can do the work. Like if we are provided a work, then we have to finish in an hour or in a day. So if we fulfill the work of a day in an hour, then it will be called efficiency of the doing the work. So
Absolutely.
in my, yes, sir.
Yeah. You can unmute. Yeah. Basically, that whatever we do has to be effective. When you say effective, it means, are we doing the right thing? Are we aiming to do something which we want the output to be? And efficient is how well you do what you have planned to do or decided to do, right? Now, in your careers, you have made a choice, right? Like Anjali is a student of BA, right? Now, is it the right thing which you are doing? Have you made the right choice of your career? Now,
Is
that
this
is
a question?
no. I said you're a student. You said you're doing BA, and in any decision making, one is that are you taken the right decision?
So I think that I have an interest in management field, so I was having time, so I think that I should join the classes.
Management people do from, in fact, if you find in most premier management institutes, most of them are engineers.
Yes, sir.
Then there are a lot of BCom students who also coming to management. Some of them come from the BBA or a BBM route. Correct.
Yes,
in fact, I very rarely see people with a BA background coming into management.
So if you have interest, then it doesn't matter that you are from which background, be it science or arts or humanity or whatever. So I think that interest should be more should be given more value than the field.
Yeah,
which
in
you are
fact,
coming to.
C is the live example. In India,
Correct.
the biggest problem is with the management skills, sir. Out
Yeah.
of 4 crore students, only 1% students are able to get the management skill. That's why if you'll see, there are 2 people who are giving the job. One is a government and one is a private company who are doing business. And if you'll go for a business houses and without business management skill, how long you can go?
Correct.
So business management is very necessary skill. So I think the kind of answer Anjali has given, it was fantastic. Yeah, please go ahead.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You need management in anything for that matter. Only the level and the skills needed to manage at different levels become different. We will see that later on in the program today. Okay. So always while taking a decision, first is whether you have taken the right decision. That is important. And once you have taken the decision which you think is right, then you have to put all the resources which are available and get it done in the least possible time with the least available resources, right? And with the best quality to get the desired output. And that is what is the efficiency. Many a times you may take a wrong decision, right? And still give the output very efficiently, but that will not have the desired result, the end result. So in managing, it is equally important to take the right decision first and then, do it efficiently. So doing, taking the right decision and then doing it right. Okay, so that is what is management about. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritties of management, we'll see a very, of course, example. What I'm giving you is on what is happening around our neighboring countries. Okay, because we all know what is happening, right? Now, a short discussion there will help you as to understand how improper management or improper decisions have a very large effect on the organizations, and in this case, the countries itself, right? So this is where you'll have to see. Now, so management is a critical element in the economic growth of a country. See, if you see in our own country, for right or wrong, we initially followed a socialistic pattern of development, because after independence, we had very scarce resources. So we could not afford to keep experimenting and failing. We needed to give employment to the masses. Agriculture was a priority, so we had the Green Revolution. The dairy products were a necessity, so we had the White Revolution. So we had gradually, if you see, from then on, in hindsight, maybe that one or two decisions may not have been right. Like some people will say the bank nationalization was not the right thing, or the transport nationalization by states may not have been right. But you can keep arguing all that, but then some people had to take those decisions. Apart from that, even our own country, we had what are called as a 5-year plans. They are no longer there now. Now we have what is called as a Niti Aayog, right? Niti Aayog is what is taking the decision, which was the earlier avatar of that was the Planning Commission. So we have what is called as a 5-year plans. And in fact, the person who formed those 5-year plans, the idea, Mahalanobis, he used a statistical technique to understand, on the input-output analysis of the various things which the country is, resources which is available, and what those resources have to be put into use to produce what, so that we don't waste any of those resources. So that is how the 5-year plans started coming from 1950s onwards. And we had many of them. And recently, of course, we don't need that kind of a planning, because we opened our economy, if you know, in the 1990s during the Narasimha Rao government. And from then, of course, we were no looking back. We are having more and more privatization. So we allow the market forces to work on whatever we are doing with, of course, the central government level planning. Now, I would say reasonably well, we have done much better than any of the economies in the world, especially the developing economies of the world, because if you see around, you will see that the countries which are around us have very badly managed, and now all the three of them, whether we are talking about Sri Lanka first, Bangladesh, or Pakistan. Pakistan has no money to buy even food today, right? Now, these are all the decisions, wrong decisions. Like we said, that effectiveness of managing was not there, right? So you can see this screen, which I have just compiled to put all the three. Sri Lanka, we knew what happened about 6-7 months back. The president of Sri Lanka ran off somewhere, then finally came back. But then all because they defaulted heavily on the payment of their debts, all because they were giving freebies to everybody. And then the government, the heads of the government themselves are siphoning out all their money, all the country's money, and all that. They had a huge debt crisis. And finally, of course, things, you will get this PPT you will get afterwards. You can just see that. Perfect. Now, what is happening in Pakistan is also the same thing, similar thing. They are in a huge debt crisis because they, right from the beginning, they were going to IMF to get money from IMF, and then China stepped in. They wanted to give infrastructure which is of no use to them, but it was only used to themselves, that one Belt Road Initiative kind of thing. And they also had a very corrupt government and the army, which were siphoning out all their money abroad. So the people in the country were left to fend for themselves, and then the more and more resources were wasted. And today they are not even able to get food for their own people. You see, Bangladesh economy, if you see the thing here, that gradually they are going down. Gradually they are going down, and I'm sure that unless they are able to pull themselves up, which it is among other than Sri Lanka and Pakistan, Bangladesh has a better chance because of their government is a lot more responsive, and the people are hardworking there. See, what is the main problem in the other two places is that Sri Lanka was depending only on tourism mostly, and natural resources like spices and other things, which all had a limited impact. Whereas, of course, Bangladesh, there is a lot of hardworking people there, and hopefully Bangladesh will come out of this thing. The least affected among all these, in fact, one of the reasons for all this was in case of Pakistan. There were floods in Pakistan. Then the COVID situation hit very badly. They couldn't produce goods to sell at that time. So they're all issues compounding one after the other. So, but the commonality in the whole world was the COVID crisis, which happened between 21 and 2021, 22. And that put everybody back. But fortunately, India did not do that badly, because we had certain sectors, like our pharma sector was extremely, extremely strong. We were the exporters for vaccines throughout the world, exporters of pharma products throughout the world. We had many other things, even nothing went down during that period. So we did not do maybe a very marginal effect, but we are the least affected on that. Why I'm telling you all these stories, even at a macro level, at the country level, you can say that our Prime Minister is like the CEO of an organization. So he has to, with his Council of Ministers, like you have the board of directors in a company, have to take the right decisions at the right time. And once you take those decisions, to efficiently put them into the system action and make it work, right? So this is what the whole thing is about: managing effectively and managing efficiently. Okay, now we'll see that there are three terminologies which I will show you. One is administration, management, and leadership. In fact, we call our degree as MBA, Master of Business Administration, but we call it as a management program, correct? And at a certain level, we talk about leadership. Now, do we understand when we say any of these terminologies? That is very important. What is?
Yeah, I think Sivang Saab can guide us better, because he is into administration. Yeah, Sivangji,
yes.
You are the right person who can actually differentiate the thing.
If you see in our country, we followed the British system, which they had come in developing what they called as the Indian Administrative Services.
Yes.
You all know. Why administrative services? It was very simple that they themselves could not micromanage at the district and the taluk levels. So they had to appoint people who could do that on their behalf and report to them. Now, in administration, what happens is at the local level, on a day-to-day level, and they have to quickly react to circumstances which are happening and take corrective actions at any given point of time. They can't wait for the management to tell them what to do. Correct. True. Administration is that you will have to create your own, take decisions based on what is happening on the ground.
Yeah, I think Sivang Patak Saab can help us.
Shivang can, yes.
With a live example. Yes. Because he is into administration, right?
Correct.
Yeah, Patak Saab. Yeah, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Please, sir, please.
Yeah. So what do you understand by administration?
Sir, it is here, written here. It's need to work on policies mainly.
Yeah.
But
no, that's why I removed that slide so that you don't read from. You say from what you think is right. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes, we need to work on mainly on policies to drive it. But it sometimes, yes, it is right that we have not to wait for the management decision. We have to go ahead when it is required.
Right.
And one more thing I would like to understand how administration is different than the HR management, because it's a very thin line. It's a very thin line. Yeah.
Yeah, it is directly connected to the employee, largely.
No, that is human resources management.
Yes.
Yeah.
But in administration also, it is largely connected because what we said from start to end.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay. Basically, like if you see that I've just put a few points in this, taken from one of the books only. Administration is concerned mainly with determining goals to be achieved and policy working. See, generally what happens is like in IAS, they have broad policies given to them, but the situation on the ground will change depending upon which state, which district you are in all that kind of, or which what is the area which you are managing. Okay, so only within the boundary of those policies you will have to take the decisions on a day-to-day basis. Administration requires conceptual skills. That is why if you see in IAS, it's a very tough exam, and then you need to not only know history, this and every other subject, and then are able to conceptualize situations, right? Oriented more towards the external environment. So whereas in management, you see you are managing within the organization most of the time. So management is concerned mainly with the implementation of the policies. It is like, again, in a way, you can say it is more about effectiveness and efficiency here, if you see. Management requires technical skills, because if you have to do something, if you are managing HR, then you need HR management skills. If you are in the finance, you need finance management. If you are in production, you need production management skills. If you are in marketing, you need marketing management skills, correct? Or systems management. So you need more of technical skills there. It is oriented more towards the internal environment, like I say, as compared to the external environment. These are some of the things you can keep discussing. There are many more points, but then I said this would probably sum up what is the thing. Now, next we will see what we call as a leadership. Why we talk about leadership. See, in an organization, we all start from at the base level, right? Base level, when you finish your engineering or your education and you join the job, you are given at the most a foreman or a supervisory level job, and from there you come up, you take position of managing a department and things like that, or a function, and you move up right up to the CEO of the company, let us say. Okay. Now, at the lower levels, you cannot take many decisions, because for everything you'll have to go back to your boss to check, whether it is the right thing to do. Correct. So you are, but whereas you go higher and higher, but above the CEO, we have the board of directors, what they call as the board of directors. Right. Now, I am in the board of a company called BPL. I'm sure most of you know. Now, what do we do in the board of a company which is listed? We are not trying to find out whether this production went right today or yesterday and all that. Are we? No, we are looking at the future. If we are doing it this way, now what is the future? How is the thing? What are the things which we have to do? Next year, next 5 years. How is a trend in the economy which is happening? What are all the opportunities? Whom all we can acquire? What are the products to be dropped? What needs to be added? And to do that, then we are looking at resources. So as leaders, our job is different from the job of the manager, right? When you put our shoes ourselves. So you constantly keep upgrading yourself to become a leader. It is not saying that you cannot be a leader in your own, even in your own role. And that is where the difference comes. See, even in organizations, the management is constantly looking for people who are proactive in their roles. When we say proactive, in the sense that there are many decisions you take which may not strictly lie within the boundaries of what has been stated, but then that helps the organization and to get a better end result. I can give you many examples from my own.
I think Sakshi, are you understanding this terminology proactive?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what do you mean by it? Would you like to share any example? Have you been to any example where you can share where you have done something proactively, so that you can correlate, try to participate, try to ask question. It's not a one day, it's not a monologue class. It's a very interactive class. So you have to extract from sir. Right? So, he is having lots of
there are many. See, today
the time will not ask, you will not get.
Since it is a basic program, there'll be a lot of terminologies which will be coming.
Yeah,
so
that's
you
why,
need to
because
understand
that. These are very good terminology, and it can be very helpful for your career. So what do you mean by proactive, Sakshi?
Sakshi, can you switch on your camera and this one? Where are you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The proactive means doing or participating in a certain thing very actively, like if I'm doing a work if I'm doing a work of managing people, then I will actively participate in that work and actively management all the peoples.
So would you like to share any example where you have done anything proactively, which you can identify that this was a proactive job?
Example, sir, I'm not recalling now.
Every day you are doing so many activities where you are proactive.
So like in our exams also, we are proactively like studying.
एग्जाम तो मजबूरी होती है, एग्जाम छोड़ के कुछ एग्जाम में तो नोट्स बनाना प्रोएक्टिव होना नहीं हो सकता, तो डर होता है. Gaurav sir, do you have any example, like you are into operation? So operation is always related with the risk and proactive activities, right?
Kumar.
So if you can, if you can share if you can share, that will be great.
Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes.
Sir, proactive in the sense, I would like to say that we like observing things and act according to it. Like
तो बहुत देर हो जाएगी जब तक आप ऑब्जर्व करेंगे.
No, sir. Like observing the
I'll probably give a clue if it is Kumar, because of want of time.
Harshita, would you like to try
today's program? No, I'll say Kumar Gaurav again. See, basically you are in maintenance, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now you heard of predictive maintenance?
Yes, sir. I've heard it.
Yes. Now, predictive maintenance is what is being proactive in your area. Right.
Yes,
now,
sir, yes.
Yeah. Reaction happens only when something has already broken down. But
yes,
suppose like you are constantly checking a certain part which generally gets worn out with a thing. And then before it completely gets worn out and stops the production or the operation, before that you change it, right?
Yes,
so
sir. We have to prevent the breakdown, sir.
Yeah. So that there is no breakdown. So the effectiveness of your job as an operations and maintenance man will be how much of predictive maintenance which you do, and that is where the proactiveness comes.
Yes, sir. Correct. We have to observe the things earlier.
Yeah. So the proactiveness is what many a times it is not while doing the job, as Sakshi was saying, it is that you do something which is more than what is required by you to do. So proactive means that not reacting. Okay, the opposite of proactive is reacting. Reacting is to do things when you're told to do, or when you observe something is going wrong and then you correct it. Proactive is to do it before something goes wrong, or taking decisions, to make others to fall in line, maybe, So that is the difference. So when we'll quickly go here between management and leadership. So in management, it is task oriented. In leadership, it is people oriented. Leader, who is a leader? Of course, we all know many leaders, like we will say, the moment you ask for example, you will say, Mahatma Gandhi was a great leader, right? Now, our Prime Minister Modi is a great leader. What do you understand by a leader? A leader is one. What is the characteristics of a leader? Kumar, again, I see you on the line. Yeah.
Most
Any 1, 2,
important,
3,
sir,
whatever comes into your mind.
yeah.
Huh?
Most important should be hardworking, sir. And
hardworking, yes. Okay.
Yeah. And should be experienced of things. And should be experienced of things.
Experience, okay. Yeah. Right. There are very young leaders also. Need not be experience alone.
Yes, sir. Yeah, there are many qualities, sir.
Yeah. It's not only in politics. Can be leader, can be in anything, any field. It can be in sports. It can be in managing companies. Again, it could be.
Yeah. If
it could be in administration.
Anyone else wish to contribute, please raise your hand so that sir can actually either because see, you have to participate. Harshita and Sivangha, please open your camera and participate so that it will give better understanding to you as well, and possibly sir can guide in a much better way. And the concept clearance will help you to become the real management guy. Yeah.
Yes, Harshita. What do you understand by a leader?
So I can say listen to the people's, listen to the manpower and act after that.
Okay, instead of listening, like, shall we say, understanding people?
Is the right thing to say.
Yeah. So in short, see, basically a leader is somebody who people associate with a certain cause. I will work for this leader. He has espoused a cause, and that cause is what is visible. It is not just the leader. It is a cause behind that leader, which is what makes a leader stand out, right? And it is like showing a torchlight and say that everybody follow this torchlight.
Right.
And people believe in that, which comes in that. So, and he is able to convince people to deal in that. You can see many religious leaders, how do they get? In fact, I used to wonder that whether even if it is, let's say, Sadhguru, like I am also, I know him. There are people from all over the world who come in there. Why do they come? Because he has certain principles, certain things to convey, which people associate, and they are very happy. And there are, like, if you see ISKCON all over the world, has followers from everywhere. The leadership there are able to throw light, let's say, and give a cause for which people follow. Now, everybody can be a leader in their own small way. And the idea behind telling you this is, from management, you should look at administering, and from administering, you need to look at being a leader in your field. So when we talk about management, it is at the lowest rung, right? It is not that one is better than the other. It is only that you have to be a manager when you're an administrator. You have to be a manager when you're a leader. So you will have to play all these roles if you want to grow more and more in your life. Ultimately, you have to be a leader. I cannot be just a manager, marketing manager or something which I started with long back. I can't keep doing that, right? I have to get into the boards. I have to do many other things, correct? So all of us have to do that. So you have to look at the position of leadership, which rightly Kumar Gaurav also said about experience. Yes, you get that out of experience, but use that experience to grow more. Be proactive and grow into leadership positions. That's why they say even in management, we'll say he has got into leadership positions. Correct? So that is what we need to do. Now, next we will come to what are all the management means what? What are the various things which we do when we talk about management? See, it is here, you see, it is a thing which you can see here. This what you see here, where I'm taking the cursor. Planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and control. These are the basic functions in management. Now, for doing this, you need to have managerial knowledge, goals of claimants, we'll see what it is. You have to use inputs, as we say, with the resources what you have. And you must have a basis for doing that, which is the management theory and management science, which you use for doing these 4-5 activities: planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling. To do what? To produce outputs, right? To produce outputs. And you are in the external environment, which what controls all this. You are given inputs like in human capital, managerial, and technological inputs. And there are various claimants to what you do. Your employees, your consumers, that is your customers, your suppliers from whom you take materials and other things, the people who have invested in your company, which is your stockholders, the government, because you have to pay your taxes and play within the rules of what is there given by them. The community, because you are within that community, you know very well what happened to Union Carbide, and many other situations like, and someone you are in the environmental thing, water treatment in Kumar Gaurav, you know what happens when things go wrong. In that, okay, the community, you have to take them into together, and all other stakeholders which are there. We collectively, we call them as stakeholders. Like here we talk about stockholders, that is the people who have invested in your company. Stakeholders is everybody who is affected by the decisions and which you take to produce whatever you are doing. Correct. So inputs and outputs both affect the stakeholders. Now, when you are working, planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling to give the desired inputs from the inputs which we have, and within the external environment, which is constantly changing, the variables are changing. Like nobody expected COVID to happen. Nobody expected, you don't have earthquakes happen in this country, sudden droughts which happen, sometimes floods happen, right? So when it affects, nobody is insulated from what is happening from outside. So that is why that external environment is there. And within all this, with all these constraints, when you produce the outputs, you produce either products or services or satisfaction. If you are providing a service, like if you are in a hospital, right? What is the outcome? The people should come. If they come horizontally, they should go back vertically, right? Correct, right? Not the other way around. Okay, so there is the integration of whatever goals they have, So, and finally, last but not the least, a profit after doing all this, because if you're doing all this, it is not a social service. Even in social service, we say that we must have satisfaction is the goal in social service. And you have to create a surplus because anyway, resources are limited. So we use the word either profit or surplus, right? So the goal of managing anything is to provide satisfaction to the customer, resulting in a profit or surplus to you. In very simple words, provide satisfaction to the customer, like satisfaction, value, whatever you can call it by any names, by using the resources very efficiently and create a profit or surplus to yourself and your organization. That is the goal of any management. Okay, now we'll see how do you define management. Of course, there are hundreds and hundreds of definitions. We can take a few of them. This was one of the earliest thing, because ultimately when you manage, you're using people, right? Even if it is a one-man organization or even two people organization, you're using yourself. You're or using people whom you have appointed or taken into your fold. So management is the art of getting done. Getting what done? Whatever needs to be done through people. This is one of the very earliest definition. It is just as simplest as it can get, right? Most of the times, you see the problem is managing people, right? Correct? You may have all the resources, but then you find that management is the managing, since it involves managing people, and that is why sometimes we say the definition of management is in management, the word itself, management, right? So that is the first definition is in the word itself. So management is a process of, this is the classic textbook definition, what you will see in any of your management 101 books. So management is the process of designing and maintaining an environment in which individuals working together in groups efficiently accomplish selected aims. See, the word here used is effectively, efficiently, because effectiveness has already happened by means of setting, the organization's vision, mission, the target for the year, target for the quarter, all those kind of things which happens in every organization, that has happened. But to achieve that, you are designing and maintaining the environment around you for all the resources by using people who are working together with you to efficiently accomplish the aims which has already been selected. So as managers, now it's expanding on it, as managers, people carry out the managerial functions of planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling, which we saw in the previous one. This one, planning, organizing, staffing, leading, controlling. And management applies to any kind of organization. It need not be, it is not that only profit-making organizations are there. It could be a government, it could be a hospital, it could be a hotel, it can be a kirana shop, it can be anything, company, whatever it is. Management applies, the principles of management apply to any kind of organization. It applies to managers at all levels. Only thing is the skills which you use for managing is different at different levels. Right. Now, as a person on the board of a company, I am not expected to go and set right a machine which has gone wrong on the shop floor of one of the companies in which it is thick, right? I can say, yes, I'm an electronics engineer, it's passed out, but then it doesn't mean that I have to roll up my sleeves and go there. Maybe sometimes I may demonstrate my ability to do that. Nobody is going to give me sabashi, On the contrary, if I'm able to get the right people who can do that job without the downtime and train them to do that job, then I'll probably it is more effective from my point of view, at my level. Right. It applies to managers at all organization levels. The aim of all managers is the same. See, here we use the word surplus. Surplus because at your level, you may not be creating a profit, but you can definitely create surplus at whatever level you are working. Like you are given a certain goals, targets of between last year and this year. Have you done better than last year? Use less resources, produce more, less downtime if you're in maintenance, right? All that matters. Have you stocked your spares and consumables correctly? Yes, Kumar. So all these kind of thing, ultimately, you can create surplus in your own field or area. Managing is concerned with productivity. This implies effectiveness and efficiency. What is productivity? Very simple. It is like output upon by input is productivity. You have an output, you have an input. Now let us see in this very simple equation, output upon input, simple mathematical equation. If your output is more for a given input, are you more productive? Yes. If you are for a given output, you have used more inputs, are you productive?
No, sir.
Correct. No, that's all the answer is. So input can be materials, it could be time, it could be manpower. Because when we talk about in software, especially, and many places where you use predominantly manpower, we'll talk about manpower productivity. Correct. So we talk about machine efficiency if you're using certain machines to do the job. We have a concept called overall equipment efficiency there. So everywhere we are only talking throughout management about what is called as productivity. And productivity is nothing but output upon input. Have you achieved a desired output with the least amount of resources, inputs, in the form of manpower, in the form of materials, in the form of machinery, whatever, all that. Or with the given input, have you maximized the output? Okay. So managing is concerned with productivity. This implies effectiveness and efficiency. Okay. So we have seen whatever we have seen earlier, we have now brought it all together in this one definition. And this is a very comprehensive definition of management. Go through it maybe 10 times. It is like up shlok bolte hai na. Daily standing in front of
in fact, we are reading as a line, but very correctly said by you, it's just like a sloka. As many times you will read and try to understand and try to explain.
Maybe this is your maybe this is your this is your morning shloka. Okay. Yeah. After you pray, have a bath, stand in front of God and tell your whatever shloka you say. If you want to be a manager, you use this, just that this much. And every day you do that, you will get a new meaning, into one of the words because of your experience which you are doing.
Yeah.
This is a very comprehensive definition.
You can correlate the things. And many people are, see, the biggest problem with the Indian education system also, they are not teaching management. However, wherever you go, you require for your job, the basic skill is the management skill.
Correct.
Take any job.
So you do one thing that, as I said, this particular definition which you see here, this from there to here, learn it by heart and tell it like a shloka, and then try and pause at any one word in a day. I'm just saying that it has taken people like us many things to understand in depth many of these. You can relate to what you have done and what you're going to do. And then, it gives you, every day it gives you some new insights, right? The words are used very effectively here. Okay, so management functions or the process of management. So the management has, how do we manage? Like we saw that there are 5 managerial functions: planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and control. So we have, what does planning do? To determine in advance what should be done. Right. Now, I will just tell you, I'm sure that all of us plan in our own lives. Correct. Like Anjali said that, she wanted to do BA. Right. So I'm sure you have planned to do BA. Right. We are not accidentally there somewhere unless you have planned to do something. Correct. So we have taken up whatever we have to do. In my case, I did engineering and then MBA. I mean, it was in many cases, yes, it was planned and taken step by step, trial and error. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you
One
don't
more
get
thing
it,
I would like to clarify, like you did your engineering from IIT Kharagpur, and after that you did your MBA from IIM Bangalore. So don't you think that your engineering degree got waste because of the management, or it got multiplied? My question is this.
No, sir, I'll tell you one thing. There are 2 things when it comes to knowledge. I'll just tell you. There is something called a depth of knowledge, and then there is a width of knowledge. Okay. You get a depth of knowledge when you do skill-based learning and then going deeper and deeper into it. Like, let us say Anjali has done a BA. In what subject?
So I'm currently doing it in geography honors.
Geography honors. Okay. Now
Yes.
let us assume that she is, I'll take her own example. Okay. She is doing geography honors. Okay. Now she can go and take a MA, MPhil in geography honors. She can also do a PhD in geography. Get into a situation, she can probably get into the United Nations or somewhere, where her skill set is going to be used. Now, once she goes higher up into those kind of positions, now she's not working alone. She has to she'll be given a country head or some, let us say, to one area, the Southeast Asia or something like that. Now she has to set up an office. She has to have people working under. Then she has to report to the UN. Now that is where she needs management. She needs the width or the breadth of the knowledge, not in her subject, but all other things put together, and more so about people. I joined my very first job when I finished my engineering was as a service engineer, sales and service engineer. Now, as service engineer, I was very good at doing my job. Excellent, right? But how long will I be doing service engineering? In fact, I have never stuck in a job for more than 2 years. I changed 4 jobs in 7.5 years and then finished. You can't keep doing the same thing. So you have to go to the next level. So the next level, I was, maybe I was doing the same job, but with a bigger territory area. Then I realized that I need to have skills in marketing management. I need to have, then I went into an MBA. Now, when I became an entrepreneur, that is when I realized that both my things as an engineer, which I know the depth of engineering, right? Depth of a subject, what machineries to choose, what materials, getting into the nitty-gritties of the material, right? The machinery, output, setting up everything, all that I know. But then I have to manage now the borrowings from finance, project reports, employ people, market the product. So there my MBA comes into. So in any job, even for Anjali, which I was telling, in her, if she was doing geography and then goes to do a PhD in a geography area, she'll still need management. You can do it parallelly also. Only in few cases, yes, the knowledge are inbuilt. Like in case of, let us say, chartered accountancy. Many management subjects now are put into even these courses.
Yeah, even
3 years I've taught.
I had an interaction with the chartered accountants. They are struggling to manage their office. They are very good in accountancy, but they fail many times to manage a 20 people team, and they are struggling with that part.
Yeah, so that is where you need. I in my own class that I had a chartered accountant who did MBA, and he has now a 500 crore organization. See, the thing is, it is not that you need both. You need depth of knowledge. You need width of knowledge or breadth of knowledge. So you cannot be unidimensional in whatever you study or learn. You have to have both. And that is where the management comes into the picture. It gives you a big view of, but then in management, again, you want to concentrate in a particular area, then that becomes the depth. Like, let us say in marketing, somebody wants to get into advertising, and then from there it wants to get into branding. Now you get the point. Now that becomes a skill and then a focused area. Now you may become very skilled in the area of branding, but then if you have forgotten your management, you'll fail in your job.
Yeah, that's why we have chosen that first 2 months all belong to a different background. But exactly, they should know what exactly marketing is. They should know branding. They should know.
So it is not that because you are taking up your one particular area, operations, let us say.
Yeah.
Let's say Kumar Gaurav and is working on, let's say, I need only operations management. No, you need all. Only thing is you focus on one or two. Correct. That is why.
Sir, I would like to share something, sir.
Yeah. Please.
Sir, sir, actually, I've done diploma in mechanical, sir.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So after that, I've again done some safety courses to enhance my skills, sir.
Very good. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yes.
After that, I'm doing this management course. And
you are doing the very right thing.
Yeah,
See, something in whatever you do, we say that you must have what is called as a core competence.
Yes, sir.
See, the word used here is core competence. So Kumar Gaurav's core competence is in mechanical engineering and related to maintenance, safety, and all that. For all you know, sometime down the line, you may open your own organization, become an entrepreneur, and provide such services to many organizations. Right? Because it's very much needed. Many small, medium organizations cannot afford to have their own maintenance departments. Right? And for every one large organization, there are 100 small organizations, they all need services. So if you are able to provide those kind of services, and have an organization, you need management again. Correct. But you can't just manage without knowing the depth of your subject. That is why I'm saying that you need the depth or the core competence of what you need, what you are interested in doing, and other things like geography for Anjali and maintenance for you. Everything is important. We need everybody in this world. But at the same time, you have to manage all that is within your resources. And that is why you need management. Everybody needs management. Okay. So, sir, I have answered your question.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. It was very clear, and now my concept is also very clear. That why?
So anybody, if a doctor can be. In fact, most of the doctors fail. Hospitals fail because they're not able to manage.
They don't know how
in
to
fact,
manage.
I am a trustee in one hospital. We are now looking for somebody to take over because the currently who are the management, they're not able to manage. They're excellent surgeons. He's an excellent surgeon. He's a FRCS.
Depth is good, but width is not there.
Yeah, fellow of the Royal Society of Surgeons, you can imagine, right? But he is not able to manage. So now that is why you say that today there is courses like hospital management has come in, right? Right. At the same time, in hospital management, there is a lot of technology which is there. So my IIT Kharagpur has started a postgraduate program in medicine, IIT, because lot of medical sciences are using technology. So you need both. See, what I'm trying to say is one is not at the cost of other. And that is why I normally dissuade people who are doing BBA, MBA kind of thing, because you have not learned anything. You at least become a BCom or you become a BA, like, geography MBA. I would appreciate a BCom MBA or a mechanical engineer MBA, right? Or a doctor MBA for that matter, or a chartered accountant MBA. All these are more useful. Just like one of my teachers earlier used to say, chana and more chana.
What does it mean?
Chana, though you keep eating more and more chana. What happens? You will get stomachache.
Okay.
You'll pass a lot of gas.
Okay.
Okay, correct. So obviously that means you have no substance, you'll be passing gas. So instead of that, you have a balanced diet, That's why we call a balanced diet. So balanced diet is something which you can have only when you have everything, small, little. Indian thali is the best example of a balanced diet. Sab kuch hai usme. So life is beautiful if you have a chapan bhog every day, Right. Today is Shankrant. Let's all celebrate having, correct.
Yeah.
So that is what life is about. There is a depth to what you do, and then you must have the width. How deep you go, how wide you go, that's what makes you a complete person. And as Steve Jobs says, nothing is wasted in life. Nothing. Don't think that you've done this, it is not going to be, I'm not going to put it to use immediately. I went, when I was a student, I attended even language courses. I did one diploma in French. Some years earlier, I had done one diploma later I did diploma in German. But I knew that all to learn that I have no linguistic ability. But the fact that I could appreciate instead of wasting time sitting, passing. But some of the courses which I did became very helpful later. So like Steve Jobs says that the dots get connected. Each activity you do in your life is, let us say you put it in a dot, in a big canvas, it can be in all over the canvas. But he says the dots will get connected. So don't worry about, whether it is a right or wrong thing sometimes. You're taking a decision, you're doing it, but do it very diligently. Make full use of what you're doing, because otherwise it is of no use. It will be a blur. Instead of a dot, it will be a blur. It's of no use to you. It is only wasting time of others also. Correct. So you put your heart and soul in doing what you have decided to do now, next 6 months. Before joining MBA, I did a diploma in marketing management from Xavier's College in Bombay. I have not missed a single class because I was working at that time. 6 o'clock in the evening, I have to be there in Marine Lines, Bombay for my class. I never missed a single class. Because it is just the joy of going, sitting and listening to, the professors there. And they're all highly accomplished people, right? So It is like, like we say, Veda. Ved is something you have to keep constantly listening. Gives you that vibration, gives you that energy. You may not be able to retain everything, but somewhere it will always come back. Mind you, human mind is so good that some of the words told to me, 50 years back, I still remember. When the occasion comes, I suddenly remember, this person had told me about this, and now I'm connecting it to this. That is the power of the human mind. But all you need to be was keep your eyes and ears open all the time. Right? It will go in. And as somebody says, the human computer, you are not even using 10% of the computer capacity. So plenty of memory is available. So coming back to this, the 5 managerial functions are planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling. And planning determines in advance what should be done. Now, this is a subject by itself. We'll go a little deeper later. Preparing for the future, deciding the business objectives and methods to attain these, done in all levels of organization. As I said, from the lowermost level to the senior management and board level, we all do planning. Plans may differ for any duration. It is from a day, week, month, quarter, year, 5-year plans. Here I'll just slightly digress. I find from my own personal experience, when you are doing a personal planning for yourself, the best plan you should do is on a Sunday evening before you go to sleep. For the next week. Monday I'll do this, Tuesday I'll do this, till let's say Saturday. Keep Sunday free for yourself. Now, activities you should be able to again divide it among, these are the personal things you will do for yourself. These are the things you will do for your family. This is a kind of socializing you will do with others. And finally, for your own self, which includes maybe watching something or reading something or anything you want to do to enrich your own self. Week is always better because it's the easiest time frame which you can do. Day, nothing happens. It's too late. Sometimes you may not get the resources for doing what you want to do. Month is too long because you will tend to put off and then say at the end of, after the last week of the month, you will start doing whatever you have planned to do. Yearly, of course, we have just crossed the new year. Everybody takes New Year resolutions, and then after 3 days, everybody forgets what they have taken. Correct. So from my personal experience, and this is what even a person like Stephen Covey says, weekly planning is the best plan. Follow it diligently and do it on Sunday evening before you go to sleep. You'll find that you will have a more relaxed, purposeful, eventful, packed week ahead. Right. Take 1 week at a time. Functions of management. Next is organizing, is to provide resources for the effective functioning. Human and material, both are resources, personal, raw materials, tools, capital. Design and develop a human organization to carry out the plan. Now, we'll see when we go into organizing that organizing means delegating. Delegating, and we'll see again in that what is delegating, how to delegate. Do you delegate responsibility? Do you delegate accountability? Right? All that. Staffing. Staffing is all about the right person for the right job. And any person in HR will tell you how much they keep looking for all the time to get the right person. And most of the times they have to, after recruiting, they'll have to train. And before that, inducting. Inducting actually means that let them know about your organization. In fact, I'm sitting in Mysore, which has one of the largest training centers probably in Asia. The Infosys training center is in Mysore. And my very close friend, Shaji Matthews, heads the Infosys in Mysore. And at any given point of time, there are 15,000 people, engineers in Mysore at any given time, 15,000. So imagine the amount of manpower they recruit, induct, and train. Then, of course, the right compensation, because otherwise people won't stay and plan their careers ahead. And nobody, like I said, I joined as a service engineer. I can't be a service engineer all that life. 1 year, next year, I'll be looking for something else, right? So you'll have to provide those opportunities. Then comes leading. Leading is nothing but, as I said, is the key word in leading is motivation. It's like, they say, you can take a horse to the water, but you cannot make it drink, right? In fact, today I saw a funny clip by the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister, Stalin. He was trying to, today is at Pongal, in Tamil Nadu it's Pongal. And then in Pongal daytime, they give cows, they feed the cows and all that. In fact, tomorrow it's called Mattu Pongal, meaning the cow's Pongal. So they try to feed the cow, and try as it may, 2-3 minutes, the cow didn't even open the mouth. Imagine the embarrassment for the chief minister and everybody, all the press photographers trying to take the photograph. So the cow, it is not motivated enough by thing. And I think the cows also, they have the sense, whom they should respond to and whom they should not. Correct. So precisely how, when in your organization, just because you're a manager, people will not respond to you. Manager is only a position. In fact, you cannot demand respect. Respect is never demanded. You have to command respect. To command respect, the other person must be motivated enough to see you as a leader. Right? So the art of leading is motivation. But the function of leading is directing. Okay. So other things like, another most important thing in leading is facilitating. See, most of the time we give jobs to people, delegate, and not provide enough resources for them. Either usko paas paisa nahi hai, nahi to the proper machinery is not there, the tools are not there, the working atmosphere is not there, right? Now, when all this is happening, you will find people don't work. To give a simple example, Kumar, earlier people used to share tools, from one machine to one operator to another operator, and you find that invariably they don't keep it back in the same place, or the tool is worn and then they don't tell, it all affects. Then we decided, okay, each employee will have his own toolbox, and all the 90% of the tools which he needs will be there with him, and he is responsible. Once a tool is worn out, he has to come and exchange. Becomes very simple. After all, it doesn't cost much money. So why do you cringe on that? You have to be proactive in trying to see what the employee needs and facilitate those things for the employee. And that is what is leading. You understand? Again, I'm using the word proactive, which I used earlier. Be proactive in facilitating your employees, in providing all the resources, and then you motivate them to do the job if they want.
Yeah,
the cow will now open its mouth.
For being proactive, you have to be very careful and alert as well.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely. Yeah.
Then your planning part will come.
Correct. So leading explains what to do and help them to do it. Then 3 sub-functions are communication, leadership, and motivation. As I said, motivation I already mentioned. Why communication is important? Because most of the times we say something and people don't really understand. Just for example, like when we talked about proactive, I don't know, one of you, I don't remember, was saying, being active in your job. No, it is not that. It is active before you do the job. in trying to determine what you can do more than what is needed in your job. Correct. So maybe what you have received was on the basis of information you have. So now I as a manager, I have to communicate to ensure that you are. See, our problem is we are in a multilingual country. Now, what I say in one language may not, and if I transliterate it to another, English to Hindi, let us say, simply because that's the simplest thing you see. I have, in my own experience, when I was dealing with a union, there was a clause that you cannot, the word used was at least. Now, all of us who know English, we understand at least. But when it got translated into Kannada, the local language here in Mysore, it became that they must.
At least.
The at least became must. So they thought it is a right that I have to take 2 days leave. Now you get the point. So the power is in whatever you are saying is in the communication and how you put it. Communication is about conveying the message and making a person to understand with the least amount of words. Communication can be done by people like, I don't know whether you know Shashi Tharoor, the politician, who uses very high-flown English language.
Yeah, very cliched, very tough language.
Tough language is nobody understands.
Nobody
I'm sure he also
understands.
doesn't understand.
Yeah.
It sounds very good, It sounds very good.
Yeah, for impression it's good, but for understanding it's
but I
a
would say,
misunderstanding.
when it comes to Hindi, I would say one of the persons who I admired as, for his communication and oratory skills. Can you name any person, one politician?
Yeah, I think Atal Bihari Vajpayee was very.
Yes, Atal Bihari Vajpayee job. You can keep listening to him. You can keep listening to him. Since I don't come from the Hindi belt, and I have studied Hindi only 1 year in my life when I had to pass my SSLC examination.
Right.
I have not studied, but I love the language. Of course, we have all been watching Hindi movies and we communicate, we talk with my friends and all that. But even to understand that, it was, we mesmerized, listening to him in any of the public meetings or in the parliament or anything.
Yeah,
like that.
He was having a poetic flow.
Very absolutely, and he was able to communicate.
Communicated,
and
having a very good
of his power of communication, he was
and tone and body language, everything was mixed up with that.
So communication is about not only verbal, non-verbal, tone, pace. Many people, like I've seen, we have very poor journalists. If you see any of the thing, they speak very fast. I don't understand, why do they have to speak very fast? The point is not that you have to say how much. You have to be effective in saying what you have to say. You have to give the right pause. You have to have the high and low of your flow of saying. You cannot be monotonous in what you are saying.
Even in communication, if you'll see, 55% of the time we understand because of your body language.
Correct.
38% of the time we understand because of your tone and pitch. Only 7% it's a Hindi, Urdu, Bangla, Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, whatever.
Correct. The actual words. So you see, the power of communication, that is what a leader should master. When you say leader, means even you are also a leader in your own way. So how you develop your power of communication, right? So that is what is, sir, just to tell you, when we had our course in management, we had 2 semesters of communication. 2 semesters.
Yeah.
1 subject each on communication alone. And mind you, we all come from Ivy League colleges in IIM.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So how well communication is important. It is not just the language. What I'm trying to say, it's not English or in Hindi or
No,
any
nothing
local.
to do with the
It is
English
how
only.
you how effectively you put what you have to say across to the other person.
Yeah, even in Young Skill India, we have a separate course that is a professional and life skill certificate course. For
Correct,
3
correct.
months, we develop and we take the guarantee of anybody. You come and your face will get changed. I will not say, you will not say, your parents, your relative and your friend should say. That is the power of the communication, the way you will talk.
So the two main things are you are effectively communicating to the people whom you have to communicate. Mind you, it is not only to your employees. As you grow up, you are communicating with the government, you are communicating with your customers, you are communicating with your other stakeholders.
And the biggest difficulty everybody face when they communicate with their own son, daughter, and wife.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Parents,
yeah. So your own family, your own family.
So
communication
you're
is
not
the
able
key.
to communicate there.
Yeah. So communication is the key. And and motivation is what makes things work, right? So we have, at last but not least, we need to control what is happening, because control is nothing but, if you want to be effective in playing football, ultimately you have to score goals, right? Or if you are playing cricket, right, you are measured by how much runs you have think if you're a batter, and how much wickets you have taken as a bowler. So controlling is about monitoring and ensuring that whatever you do is in conformity with the plans.
Yeah, I think Shivang Pathak Sahab can give a better explanation, because he's into administration. So whether administration is controlling or facilitating, Shivang Pathak Sahab.
Shivang Pathak, yeah, he was in Panasonic Life Sciences.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Correct. Shivang, can you unmute and?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, please elaborate a little bit more, because basically our perception is that all the administrators are very good controller, and sometimes in an organization they give the controller, office controller, or the branch controller kind of post is there, who controls literally everything. So what is your position?
No, we are more in facilitating.
Oh, good. No, good. But at the same time, when you face, see, in any, as a, say, let us like you say, I'm an electronics engineer, you have a process, there is an input, there is an output. Invariably in all electronics, there is a feedback loop. Like that feedback loop is monitoring the output to ensure that you change the input according to the result which is happening. Like, let us say, an electric iron, if it does not have a thermostat, what happens?
It doesn't heat or what?
No, it will heat so much that it will burn your clothes. No, it does not restrict. Yes. Like morning, your geyser is having no thermostat. Thermostat is fails. The water will start boiling because it is continuously heating. Correct. That control mechanism or the feedback mechanism is what is the most important in this process. You get the point? Just a very simple example I give you because you can understand. Correct. So controlling function, like the controlling function is also important, because in an iron, if you are ironing, like I have, by unknowingly, sometimes I have burnt some clothes, especially if there is a light materials, silk or
woolen and silk.
Woolen and silk. Woolen thought chalega, at least woolen may not burn, but if you put in cotton or linen setting and then try to iron a silk, it will burn, no?
Immediately.
Or a lace, yeah, or polyester mixed material. So you have to be careful where you set the control. So as a controller or a person monitoring controls, you have to set the controls and monitor that it is properly working in that control. Correct. So Controlling is to ensure that the result is in conformity with the plans. Controlling functions involves 3 elements. Establish standards for performance. That is, if you want to iron silk, you must put it in this setting, right? Measuring current performance and comparing it with established standards. And taking action to correct. Suppose even in that silk setting, you find that it is either not doing properly or it is on the border of getting to be more. You will reduce it or increase it according to the thing. So taking action to correct any performance that does not meet with these standards. Management applies to small and large organization. Now this is the last one, profit or not profit. This is the summing up the whole thing. Enterprises, whether it is for manufacturing or service industries. So all these functions, what we talked about, planning, organizing, staffing, leading, control, all these which we have talked about now applies to whether it is a small organization or a large organization, for profit or not for profit, enterprises, manufacturing, or in service or government, or that matter, anything. Okay. So this is a very common thing, and this is why you are doing management program. An enterprise can be a business, government agency, hospitals, universities, MUTs, today associations, military, sports bodies, anything. Association of people is an enterprise, right? That is what is important. With established objectives and rules governing how they work within that organization. That is why in any of you in chartered accountancy, I'll say there is a memorandum and articles of association.
Yeah.
A memorandum is what you will do, and an article says how you will do.
Right.
So an enterprise is a group of people working to fulfill an objective of what all you will do within the rules of how you will do to achieve the end results. Okay, so these are all the functions of management discipline. I think I may, yeah, I'm looking at the time, the second time now. Okay, now levels of management and skills. So we talked about, what skills you need at what levels. It is not that only these skills, and it is okay to have all the skills, but what is useful at that level, that is important. So a simple diagram like the matrix like this is given. Before that, we'll see what is a skill, an individual's ability to translate his knowledge into action. Right? If you're a mechanical engineer and let's say you can do a filing job, let us say, I'm sure you are trained to do how to do a filing job, right? Or if you're a welder, to use how do you do the welding job? It is not inborn, because skills are something which can be trained for anybody. That is why in human resource management, we say that we employ people for their attitude and not for skills. If a person has the skill, but he doesn't have the proper attitude for doing the job, he's useless. Actually, I would rather take a person who has an attitude to learn, to whom I can teach those skills which he will employ.
In fact, 95% of the rejections are happening during the interview just because of the attitude. People are not able to manage that attitude.
You may say, I have all the skills, I have the qualification. No, people don't employ for qualification and skills.
No, never.
They employ you for your attitude.
Attitude.
Yeah. So, but you must have the skills, right? So management skill mixes at different organization levels are this. So we see on the continuum, you see conceptual skills, diagnostic skills, technical skills, and interpersonal skills. Now, interpersonal skills are about communicating, about your own, how you deal with people, your peers, your subordinates, your seniors. Many people I have seen, when they go to the boss, they will go with a folded hand and hanji, that hanji mentality we used to say, hanji. But the moment he comes out of the office, he'll be firing his subordinate. Now, both are not good. You don't have to do Hanji. I've never done a Hanji in my life. Let me tell you. Because that means you are a subservient to the other person. You have to give respect. Respect is different. Respect is for the position. But that doesn't mean that, you'll, like if you see many politicians, when they come out, the people, even people older than them will come and fall at their feet, That is because of the power and position which the person has. And it has nothing to do with these leadership qualities. So, but interpersonal skills are how you communicate, how you treat your subordinates, your peers, and your seniors. This is important at all levels, let me tell you. But when you are the boss, super boss, you can get away with some of the things which you cannot get away when you are in the middle or the lower levels of management. It's as simple as that. It's common sense. Technical skills, of course, if you are employed as, let us say, in maintenance, you have to know your job, right? Or if you are employed in let's say, a design engineer, you have to know your job, right? Or you are in production, whatever area, you should know your job thoroughly. Diagnostic skills is something where when something is going wrong or how to set right, whether it is people, whether it is machinery, whether it is a process, how to set things right, right? For example, if you are a doctor, diagnostic skills are most important. If a doctor does not have diagnostic skills, then he is not a doctor. Correct, right? But even in your job, whatever you are doing, diagnostic skills will translate into trying to know what is wrong or what is going to be wrong, whether it is in the machinery or sometimes even in people. In fact, I know some of the managers, even I myself as a boss, wherever I go on the floor, I sometimes see one person, let's say Jyoti or somebody, and some girls, and the women employee. Like I know the local language, although I'm not from here. I ask her, means, it is just saying that what happened, why are you little? Now, I'm sure she must have had some problem or a health problem or somebody some problem at home. But the very fact that you are able to perceive that something is wrong, that itself becomes very good for her. Yes, sir, today I had this problem and all that. And if it is a problem which the person is not able to solve, many in the management will say, okay, I'll get it done for you. You please, you don't, you put your concentrate on the work. Now, how nice it feels, you see. So this is what is a diagnostic skill with respect to people. With respect to machine, I know a person, I'll tell you, this is a Parsi engineer, which I've seen by myself in a textile mill in Bombay. That guy will walk, with his eyes literally closed, meaning just walk straight to the shop floor. But just by the sound of machines, he knows that which machine is either giving trouble or going to give trouble. Can you believe the power of the person? Correct. Just like a doctor is able to tell you what, by the pulse of your pulse, what is going on inside. Correct. That is the diagnostic skills. So you must have diagnostic skills with respect to people. Again, people, man, machine, materials, everything. So some input material is not right. You should be able to figure it out and make sure that it is replaced. So that is what is diagnostic skills. Conceptual skills are the order where you are able to look for a different outcome or result which is more than, let us say, what is planned or into the future. And when there is a problem, you are able to identify and able to conceptualize what is
value addition to the work.
Absolutely. Now, if you see in this diagram, the top managers, most of their, see how little of technical skills they need. They don't need much of technical skills. They need technical skills only to understand. As an engineer and as a CEO of me, for me, I can, whatever my employees on the shop floor or a manager or a maintenance guy says, I can understand. But I can't put my hand and then get it done. But I understand. That is enough for me. But I should be able to conceptualize. I should be able to diagnose what I need to do. See, I should be able to think and I should be able to. My interpersonal skills, I don't need that much because I can get away with. It's not that I would say that if this is also very good, it's good. But what happens is it's also a liability sometimes. If you are too much pally with everybody in the organization, people will take advantage of you. That is why we say, as a boss, you have to keep the distance. Correct? So you should be having that distance. So interpersonal skills are only needed when it is critical and not there for a top manager. If you go to the first line managers, you see their technical skills is very much needed, very high here. Conceptual skills is less because again, the problem is thrown up to the management. His interpersonal skills is very important because that you're dealing with a lot of people at that level. Your subordinates, your peers. In any organization, let me tell you, supervisory position is the most difficult. Because maximum number of people whom you work with is in that supervisory position. In fact, there is a theory in delegation called Greikunas theory. You can maximum handle 8 people at a time. It is proven by mathematical model. Because you are dealing with not just 8 into 1. It is, if you need
8 multiplied by 8.
Yeah. It's a 8C2. It's a combination.
Yeah.
Because they not only have relationship with you, but they have their own relationship between themselves.
5 is
and
an
you're
ideal
managing
one.
all that. Yeah. So
5 is an ideal one, but by
no, 8 is
stretching,
maximum. 8 is maximum.
8 is maximum. Yeah.
8 is maximum. But unfortunately, in real life, you will find that the people at the lower level manage much more number of people.
Yeah, when 20 people being managed by one
and they'll go mad,
supervisor.
they go mad very fast. All the depression, everything sets in because of this problem, which is that interpersonal skills. So the sooner you develop interpersonal skills at the lower level, better, because that will take. So obviously, this is what it is. Now, the same thing which I have put it in a different format here and in theory, because this you can read later on. Technical skill is about knowledge and proficiency in activities involving methods, processes, and procedures, tools and techniques. For example, shop floor supervisors, accountants, etc. Your human skill is the ability to work with people, cooperative teamwork, creating an environment where people feel secure and free to express their opinions. Conceptual skills is the ability to see the big picture, to recognize significant elements in a situation and understand the relationship among the elements. And lastly, the design skill. The same 4 skills, I put it in a slightly different way. Ability to solve problems in ways that will benefit the enterprise. Foresee problems, understand and work out a practical solution. As you see, the top management managers and the middle managers and frontline supervisors, they need all these skills, but in different proportions at each level, right? As a senior manager, suppose you say you want to go and repair the machinery, you are wasting your time, right? But what happens is sometimes people don't give up their what they were doing 10 years before. And
they want
don't
to
grow.
prove their
Correct.
super skill.
Yeah. Correct. That's true. Okay. The aim of business managers is to make profit. See, what is the next aim Can anybody say? The first aim is to make profit. The next aim is? Shivang?
Yeah, please guys try. At least don't worry about
Yeah,
writing.
Shivang, you are right. See, there you
Public
can't be wrong.
welfare.
Huh?
Huh?
Public welfare. Okay,
For?
you mean to say that employee welfare, because he is an
Yeah.
organization only. So
No,
second
but,
aim is to employee welfare.
No. In top management, we say that, no, sir, this was actually meant to be a joke. We say the first aim is to make profit. The second aim is to make more profit. And the third is to make more and more profit. You see, we when we sit in our boardroom, that is what we say, the senior managers who come to the meeting,
Yeah. Right.
So they only see the bottom line, right? Now, how you translate what you are doing into that is using other, tools of management. Okay. So the aim of a business should be, the first one should be to make profit, but by providing satisfaction to people, managing people well, managing resources well, and creating a surplus. Okay. So profit is really only a measure of a surplus of sales over revenue. The aim of all organizations should be surplus, whether business or non-business. In non-business enterprises, managers' goals should be to accomplish as much as possible with minimum available resources. Hence, the goal of all managers is the same, to create surplus. Productivity, efficiency, and effectiveness, I have already told you earlier. Managers must be productive. Successful companies create a surplus through productive operations. Output upon input is what is productivity. Within a time period, quality considered, mind you. So hence productivity can be increased by increasing outputs with the same inputs, or by decreasing inputs but maintaining the same outputs. I've already discussed that earlier. By increasing outputs and decreasing inputs simultaneously, that is the best way to do it. Okay. Now I will quickly run through, because we are running out of time. You've got 10 minutes, but then we'll finish. Even if it goes a little more, I hope you don't mind. 5-10 minutes more. So the management thinking itself has gone from time to time. It's even earlier when the Industrial Revolution started, they all thought that man has 2 legs, 2 hands, and no brain. It was that typical, the age of the Terbligs and all that kind of thing, time and motion study, and before the World War, the First World War, and all that, Second World War. So their classical perspective was that. Then from there, then people started realizing that, people have their own minds and then their own behavioral. So behavioral sciences started developing. And then when people started applying more and more of quantitative methods to improve the output, so statistical process control, which came into way, this is where the effective, roughly I will tell you the period in which statistical process control gained importance was after the World War, and in the early 60s, when Joseph Juran and Edward Deming, 2 of the greatest people in this field, but surprisingly from Westinghouse Corporation in US, they tried to use it in US. When they couldn't do, they went to Japan and gave all their knowledge to Japan, and Japan developed the process of quality control. So that is this phase of quantitative approach thing. And then of course the systems approach came, that saying that you have to look at it as a whole and not as individual parts or in an organization. And contingencies as and when it arises. Now it's a mixed bag of all these things. So this is how management thinking has developed over the years. Now, roles of a manager. Now, any manager is an individual, but it is like at home. You see, many of the biggest problem with managers is when they go home, they think they are the boss at home. Who is the real boss at home?
After second, they will.
Kumar Gaurav.
Obviously.
You are an experienced man. And she wants
Yes,
to
sir.
come back.
Wife, sir.
Huh?
Wife.
Let us ask Anjali, the youngest in the group. Anjali.
So currently I'm the boss of myself because I'm not living with my parent. I'm in the
No,
hostel.
but
So there's no
imagine
much.
yourself, you're staying at home with people, with all your people. Who is the boss?
Then of course my parents, sir.
Your parents. Among your parents, your father or your mother?
So it depends that with whom my connection is
No,
best.
because your mother will anyway veto whatever your father says. No?
So with mother, it is more difficult than father.
See, especially when it comes to daughters, mother is the boss.
Yes, sir.
Correct. So anyway, so see, your father may be a boss in the office, but he cannot be a boss at home. Correct. Unfortunately, people don't understand. They think that when they come home also they are a boss. Right. So you play different roles at different places in the organization, and also when different places in the society. So the roles are that one Joseph Mintzberg, he identified 10 roles which a manager has to play. One is the interpersonal roles with among your subordinates, peers, and seniors. A figurehead role, which is ceremonial and for social duties. Like if you have to call a town hall meeting in the thing, you should be able to effectively communicate and authoritatively communicate. See, the question is there, it comes to question of authoritative. That whatever you say must sound, that you're able to do it. I had an experience long back when I was, I told you I was a service engineer, meaning my very first job. So I was in charge of doing this electrical substation. There was one substation in a place called Mira Road, one of the Western Railway substations. I went there and I was one of the, there because they use a lot of people and then it is subcontracted to a guy who handles all these. So this guy, and it was on top of a tower-like thing. I was sitting and talking to him. Very nice guy, very nice, very soft-spoken, beautiful language, satire and everything. If you see, is fantastic. But after 10, 15, 20 minutes, of talking to him, he'll say, "Saab, 2 minutes humko de do." So he used to come out and come back after a couple of minutes and then continue. It went on for almost 2 hours. And every time after 10, 15 minutes, he used to go out. After 3 or 4 times, I was impatient. I said, "Oh, kya karta hai wo jaake udhar?" No. Then I go out and then I see this guy is shouting on top of his voice to the people who are working there, using all kinds of filthy language, And I could not understand how a very person who is so well-mannered, highly educated is doing this and all that. Then I couldn't contain. After 2 hours, I asked him, "See, Dilip, why are you doing this, man?" "Sir, this is not for me. I forget. That is a mob, workman mob. If they don't listen to my shout and galis every half an hour, then they won't work. No, they'll think something is wrong with the boss. So it is my job that every 20 minutes, half an hour, I'll go out, give some shouting and come back." Now, he has understood his role very clearly. Right? So, in his role as a figurehead for that kind of employees, that is what he needs to do, and then he has understood that he has. It's not necessary that you have to do it in all situations. In other situations, it may be counterproductive, right? But you have to understand the situation and play that role for which you are handling. So there are ceremonial roles and social duties, and then the leadership role where you have to motivate and encourage employees. A liaison role, especially when you have to be a go-between between your subordinates and the boss, right? Which happens all the time. Informational roles when you have to monitor, receive or disseminate information. The passing information to your subordinates, spokesperson's role when you're talking outside your organization, decision roles which are entrepreneurial role. Today there is also a word which is called intrapreneur. Intrapreneur means being an entrepreneur within the organization, internal. That's the role. If you take, you become proactive and you become a leader very fast. Then the disturbance handler, you should be able to do a firefighting person. Anything which happens, a supplier's problem, a customer's problem, a strike in an organization, a fire, or rather literally a fire, all that. And a resource allocator's rules. How do you allocate work on the daily basis? And if somebody is not having enough work, how do you allocate, reallocate, and all that, delegate authority? And last but not the least, the negotiator role in dealing with various persons, like unions, grievances of the people from outside, all that. So these are the 10 managerial roles which the Joseph Mintzberg said. This you should understand. You have to play these roles as and when it is needed to be played, mind you. So it is, sometimes you become like an actor. I said, yes, you have to do that. Oh, I don't know whether there is an old movie called Anand, Hindi movie. Rajesh Khanna.
Yeah, Amitabh Bachchan and Rajesh Khanna.
Yeah, वो last scene में बोलते हैं ना, वो हम सब कठपुतलियां हैं,
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah, we all are, you can say that.
No, he says, uses the word, हम सब कठपुतलियां हैं.
Right.
So it is that, like this says, the 10 roles, or let us say you assume are the 10 fingers, and then you have to play accordingly, use those roles to play in your life.
True, sir.
It's as simple as that. Right. Okay. And you have to learn that. Now, I'm just putting this slide back to remind you that this is what is the thing. You have a social responsibility to the society and a social responsiveness to the corporation. Like today, if you see, you have sustainable development goals. Do you know what are the sustainable development goals?
CSR activities as well.
Yeah, CSR is one of the activities. There are 17 sustainable development goals, which the United Nations have, India is a part of it. And by 2030, we have to achieve certain goals which we ourselves take up. Environment is one of them, one of the sustainable development goals. CSR is another, education is another, providing jobs for everybody is another, like this, there are many sustainable development goals. You should be aware of it as a manager, and then whether you're doing it right. Are you doing the right thing and are doing it right towards these sustainable development goals? So that is where you have to be acting. Are you reactive or proactive? As I said, you have to be proactive, obviously. What is the role of the government? See, you can't wish away the government in any society for that matter. Even the most capitalistic countries government plays a role, right? And we are a mix of socialistic and capitalistic economy. And there is a social audit. See, excellence, if you see whether to be successful or excellent is always a dichotomy. But I would say you have to be excellent, and in trying to be excellent, you will be successful, but not the other way around. Because in trying to be successful, you tend to, rub many people and do wrong things to become successful.
Right.
But in trying to be excellent, you will probably need more time and more effort. But once you become excellent, you will become successful automatically. So that is the approach which you should take as a manager. Lastly, there is ethics in managing, or we call it as business ethics. Ethics is nothing but good or bad. In fact, you don't have to study ethics at all. We are all from the Sanatana Dharma, right? We are all from the Sanatana Dharma. We have been ingrained in our in our own philosophy, the Hindu way of life, philosophy, what is right and what is wrong, right? And you follow that. If you understand our own things, it will apply to business ethics also, right? So expectations from society, fair competition, public relations, social reform, etc., right? So ethical codes, whistleblowing policy. Now, this is something which is of late gaining prominence. When you see something is wrong, whether will you tell about it? What will be the cost of exposing? Right. In short, if we say in life, you can choose an organization which you want to work, but you can't choose your boss. 2 of the 4 jobs which I left is because of the boss. What to do? I can't. So in doing it, at least I learned that I should be a good boss. Correct. So this is something which you have to, but if nobody is there to listen, then whom will you blow whistle to? Okay. Build a trust, because that always. Nature and purpose of if group effective, that is doing is about this one. Planning has many dimensions. Anyways, for want of time, I'll just go through this slide. I will show you that planning has many dimensions. It starts when you start at the top of the plan. It is the vision which an organization has and the mission or the purpose for which the organization is working. Now, this is defined by the top management with the understanding of everybody. And that is why we call it as a shared vision or a shared mission. That is translated into objectives, which are what your goals are, the monthly budgets, goals and all that, which is translated into for the yearly thing. And to help meet those objectives, you create strategies, enumerate policies which are major or minor, which can keep changing, but not very often, establish procedures and rules, and create programs, develop budgets in terms of translating it into money terms. This totally forms all the plans you do. Obviously, you don't do this often. You do it once, maybe once in 5 years, or maybe not even that. But all this is done on a yearly, quarterly, monthly, and maybe weekly, daily kind of. So that is the hierarchy of plans. Now, I have given you that can also be seen as in 3 different ways: strategic, tactical, and operational. Very simple to visualize this. Imagine you yourself as the general in the army. Okay. If you're a general in the army, and then the government has says, like right now, in fact, today was the Army Day, I think International Army Day or Indian Army Day, In fact, morning I was listening on the TV to our defense minister. Who is the defense minister? Anjali?
Rajnath Singh, sir.
Rajnath Singh.
Rajnath Singh.
Yes. Rajnath Singh as a defense minister, which he was telling, if you heard some time back, he said, we will take back POK. Now, I'll tell you an incident. When I was in Kharagpur studying as a student, 1971. You know what happened? What is the big thing which happened in 1971 December?
Bangladesh
got liberated. My head of the department, Professor G.S. Sanyal, 6 months before the thing was missing. Missing in the sense, people did not know where he has gone, but he later told us after he come back. What happened was he, as a professor of communication, HOD of communication, he was an expert on a particular type of communication, which the very marshy terrains of Bangladesh have to be maintained. It's called a troposcatter. He was an expert in that. Now, you think war was something which happened, at somebody's whims. They knew exactly when they are going to start and when they are going to stop. The planning happens years before, the planning months before, right? Now, he was there trying to develop all the systems to see how, as the army progresses, how they will. Now, that is what is the strategic plan. Tactical plans happen on the ground. See, once you start the war, you must keep progressing, right? In fact, it was planned to be 10 days, it became 14 days. Happens. Not the whole of Bangladesh was run over in 14 days by India. So it is, but tactical plans is what happens is you expected certain ground realities and then it didn't happen. So you'll have to keep working towards that. And operational plans are aim, shoot. Enemy is in front, shoot. Don't talk. Right? So plans are like that. Strategic plans, tactical plans, operational plans. Happens even in organizations. Your strategic plans may not translate into tactical plans, may not translate into organization, but you must have a plan. Correct? All the same. So goal setting. So in development, this thing maybe even your weekly planning, which I was telling you, personal. Set what you want.
So your voice is not audible clearly.
Those we saw call as smart, and all that. Yeah, there was a little instability in my. Hello.
No
Yes,
problem,
sir,
sir.
it
No
is-
problem.
it is clear.
Some
Yes, sir.
network issue is there. No
Yeah,
problem. It's a
Yeah. No. But I'm on a fiber optic network. I don't know why. It should be good. Okay. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Now, I will not go into this because sometimes this itself is a full day workshop. So, but the fact that your goals must be smart. You can dwell on it or read some material relating to this to understand that how to set smart goals.
yeah. Maybe sir is facing some technical challenges. Huh? Yeah.
Then we have a decision making is important. What to understand is a problem.
Oh. Never mind. It's all what you call tactical one. You're planning something, but something. Yeah, sir. Yes, sir. Because of the network, you missed. No problem. Please continue.
Yeah. But I don't know. Normally, it should
think,
happen.
please conclude. I think. Yeah, no problem, sir. You can conclude. You can give your concluding remarks.
So
that will be more than
So we
sufficient.
have we have, no, that's why you have, when there is a problem, there is a cause to the problem and there are multiple solutions. So you need to identify, first of all, the problem and define how you are going to solve the problem. And that is how, what is this thing about? I have a couple of more slides that managing means managing this. As you say, people employ you for your attitude. How do you build the attitude in organizations?
Maybe, what you can do that, you can share the slide and maybe another session, we can have one of your own session, a separate session for the same. Maybe in the end of the program or something like that. So that will
correct.
help.
Right. Yeah. So organization is that we have. So I'll share you the things about all this.
Please share this slide with me so that I can share with them. Yeah, that's right.
So these are the details of what we have already discussed, but there are different things. So we will get into that. You need to understand the difference between authority and responsibility, and accountability is another factor which you need to think. Who becomes accountable? That is an important thing which you need to understand when you delegate authority. And how do you delegate authority is what thing. And this is the last slide. Okay, I'll come to that. After knowing everything about management, what you must understand that what works in organization is power. What works in society is power. Power need not be from the highest person in the organization. Sometimes people very low in the organization also wield power, right?
Sometimes
and this is something
peon is more powerful than CEO.
Correct. You go to your government office, the peon is the most powerful man because he decides,
he knows everything,
where your file will go. Right. So you have different types of power. These are the 10 different types of power. Each of these is exerted by people, utilized by people for their own ends, even though other forms of managerial things are existing. So you have to be aware of these when you are dealing with people in organizations. Okay, so I will conclude there.
Please, sir, and thank you very much. It was really enlightening and very much eye-opening for me as well. That's why I was also listening, very carefully. And as you very correctly said, management is one subject. As many times you will, sit and talk and understand, every time you will find a new definition, or every time you will find a new insight. Yeah. So quick feedback, guys. So quick feedback. I would like to understand from you that how was the feeling and what was the gain for the day? Yes, sir. Kumar Gaurav sir. How are you feeling now after having the first session? And we are fortunate to have Professor Rangachari, such a learned professor from IIM Bangalore. So how are you feeling and what was your gain? 2 questions.
Sir, thanks to Professor Rangachari, I've learned, I've got the opportunity to learn many more new things which I was not aware earlier, sir. So that much I would like to say. So,
how are you finding these sessions? Do you feel that it is going to add value?
Yes, sir. I think it will help the students more to flourish their careers, sir.
Yeah, because it's a practical knowledge. You are listening directly from the horse's mouth, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Who have done something and learned something, and then they are giving it back to you. Yes, sir. Sivang Patak Sab. So how was the experience and what was the gain for the day?
Sir, it was good to hear, sir. And it will help in our day-to-day activity.
Okay, great. Thank you, sir. Yeah, Harshita, how was the feeling, and what is the gain for the day?
Thank you so much, sir. It feels too good. Actually, I have so much gap in studies. Actually, so it feels good, and the experiences, it will help a lot in day-to-day activities to do some work, to do management in offices. Like, thank you
Basically,
so much.
you must be able to correlate so many things, together while
Yeah.
you're working in an organization and listening all these things. So possibly the
Yeah.
quality will come out. Like you will be more qualitative manager now. You can, because your understanding will go up, and you will be more powerful in your own way.
Yes, sir.
So it's really fantastic. Yeah, Anjali, how was the experience, and what was the gain for the day? BA to MBA. Yeah.
So it was a fantastic experience, and I will thank you, the sir. And initially before joining the class, I was quite nervous that I'm very
It's
young
probably
to
the youngest
join
today.
for the
Huh?
MBA, but it was quite good, and I'm feeling blessed that I've joined the classes.
Okay. Yeah, Sakshi, how was the experience, and what
Yes,
was
sir,
the
it was
gain?
very good experience because till now I was not having so much knowledge about management. What sir has told today, it was so much good that I have learned before also about that all planning, controlling and all, but in this much detail I have not learned earlier. So it is very
Okay.
good.
Okay. That's really fantastic. Yeah. So on behalf of the students, sir, I would like to thank personally as well. I have also upgraded my learnings, and lot many new things I have learned from you. Hello. Hello. Yes, sir.
See, that's what we say. I said when we teach, we learn.
Right.
We also are learning.
Yeah. So certainly, sir, we will look forward.
So anyway,
yeah.
See, this is only a very beginning of a taste of what management is about.
Right.
So depth of management, to understand the total width of management.
Right. So it's a very
Understand?
well said proverb. No?
Every day is a process.
Yeah, every
But
day is
you
a
must
process.
keep your
Well begun is a half done, right? So we are thankful to you that you set the tone, and I'm pretty sure this batch will do wonders. So thank you very much, sir, and thanks everyone for participating and joining. Thanks a lot. So we are closing for the day. Thank you very much.